Good morning and welcome to Today in LA. My name's Mike Amos. We're coming to you this morning from our studios of Troy Cablevision, located on South Brundage Street in Troy, Alabama. And we're coming to you this morning live on Facebook across the country, across the world on Facebook this morning. So if you're out in the West, give us a call. Our number is area code 334-670-0052. 670-0052. That's area code 334. Call us from Los Angeles this morning. Call us from West Virginia or the hilltops of the Rio Grande River. Call us today. Also from our nestling place, one of our favorite places on this earth, Panama City Beach, Florida. Call us this morning. We're looking forward to hearing from you right here on our show. And, of course, we've been coming to you on Today in L.A. For quite some time now, over 20 years. And, of course, we're live on Today in Lower Alabama, so don't get us confused with the L.A. From out west. The L.A. in Troy, Alabama is where we're interested in. Lower Alabama. Hopefully you'll call us in this morning from wherever you are. If you're tuning in on Facebook, of course, we've got a lot going on. We've got a big weekend coming up of high school and college basketball. We've got, we're just a week away from the wonderful Mardi Gras ball, which will be coming to Troy, not this weekend, but the next weekend, and that's going to be a lot of fun. They've got a big drawdown, a $10,000 drawdown. If you would like to buy a ticket, drop by the College Senior Center today and get in on the big raffle that they've got to raise money for the College Senior Complex right here in Troy, Alabama. Of course, Super Bowl to weekend, and that's probably the biggest weekend of the year as far as people gathering together and having what they call weekend, a super weekend, if you want to call it, and come over to the house for a Super Bowl tailgate or whatever, and let's eat some good food. In fact, one of our sponsors is Piggly Wiggly, and they've got their T-bone steaks on sale. They've got their ribeye steaks on sale. In fact, right now, they've got their select USDA boneless ribeye steak, $7.99 right now, going on at Piggly Wiggly. They've got their Spring Mountain whole fryers, are delicious. They're on sale this week, and their fresh pork spare ribs. And boy, I know you'd love that. Get them to cut them, and however thick you want them, and they are delicious. And of course, they've got the Ballpark Franks, 2 for $4. That's a big deal there. Sirloin pork chops, 99 cents a pound. That's a good deal. And maybe the best deal anywhere, if you price bacon anytime soon. Bryan Bacon, Bryan's a pretty good product. 2 12-ounce packages for $5 today at Piggly Wiggly. That's cost plus 10%. And also, I want to remind you that the Mayfield Party wings are on sale at 3 pounds for $4.95. That's a pretty good deal too. And of course, Seabest cooked shrimp rings. The rings with the cocktail sauce on the inside is $4.25 today at Piggly Wiggly. Good morning. You're on Today in L.A. We're at our studios on South Brundage Street in Troy, Alabama. Where are you calling from?
Grayton Beach, Florida. It's gonna be raining down here all day. Not a beautiful day. With the rest
so you wouldn't recommend anybody if they want sun, that you wouldn't want to go to Northwest Florida today. Is that right?
Well, the rest of the weekend can be beautiful though, so should be good for Super Bowl parties and anything else going on down here.
You know, I was talking about that first thing this morning, and some people probably say, "What are you talking about?" You know, Super Bowl is the most. You don't ever hear, "Come over to my house for a football party" or whatever. But you hear all the time, "Come over and let's have a Super Bowl party." I think there's more tailgating going on for the Super Bowl than any other event. What do you think?
Well, I mean, a lot of people love to watch the commercials that come on, starting a couple hours before the game. Actually, there's a few commercials that already come out, but I mean, it's a huge thing. I mean, I remember living, in Birmingham. I mean, there was always just tons of stuff going on. Different friends would have parties and kind of go house to house and end up settling at a bigger party, I guess. But I mean, it's always been a lot of fun. I've always looked forward to.
You know, my good buddy in Ozark, Stuart Skinner, is to me has the biggest tailgate party or what we call Super Bowl parties of anybody, and that's in Ozark, starting at 3:00 Sunday afternoon. I couldn't tell you the exact directions, but it's out near the country club. And what you do is you just drive out there until you see a bunch of cars, and they even have raw oysters and all kinds of good food, man.
Yeah, Will was talking about that the other day. Of course, down here usually when the Super Bowl's going on, it's the Red Bar's birthday party too.
Hey, Steve, need a picture out here.
Of course, that won't happen this year. But yeah, I was looking at the forecast the rest of the weekend at the beach. Tomorrow will be 60 and sunny. But low of 44. Sunday will be 60 and 48, and then Monday will be 67 and sunny, and low of 60. So it looks like it's going to be a pretty weekend.
I just want to see how pretty I am this morning. Steve Kemp's in the studio.
Already about to come into February. Since like January lasted a long time, but of course we got football recruiting will finally come to an end next week as well. So. I guess Troy is done, but Alabama and Auburn are trying to pick up a few more.
Wait a minute. You're not trying to tell me my Trojans are done, are you? You mean they're toast?
Well, no. I mean, they've got, the early signing period. They signed their...
Oh, yeah. As far as the recruits, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, the basketball team might be done. They got beat by 30 last night.
Did they really? Gosh, Mom.
Wonder how many times Troy has been beaten by Georgia Southern in basketball in the last, 7 or 8 years. I feel like Georgia Southern... It just dominates Troy in basketball.
Yeah, they sure do. And right now, I don't think the new coach has had time to recruit really, but it doesn't look very good right now.
He brought in several players. A lot of players left. Troy's top player, the Johnson kid, Javon Johnson, left the program and transferred to Iowa State. So that's good for him.
Really?
He can leave a Sunbelt school and go to Iowa State, but. He's having to sit out a year at Iowa State before he can play.
Did he ever play at all for Troy?
Yeah, he averaged 11 points a game last year.
Yeah, it would have really helped us this year.
6'8" guy, that could jump and.
That's right, 6'8" guy, and then we had a 6'9" kid that got hurt. So, that hurts you when you get to.
That's the kid that is really hurting Troy the most. Zay Williams. He was actually having a really good year.
Yeah, where's Zay from? Do you know?
He's from the powerhouse in Birmingham, Parker.
Yeah, Parker, and gosh, now he played last year too, though, didn't he?
Yeah, but he was young last year. He actually put on a little more weight this year. Parker's located in downtown Birmingham.
Yeah, I know all about the Thundering Herd. Isn't that the nickname of them? Parker Thundering Herd.
Troy was led by Ty Gordon. He scored 14. Darian Adams scored 12. Adams is really inconsistent. That really hurts Troy. You never know what you're going to get out of Adams. That's kind of the way he's been his whole career. Nick Stampley scored 12. Desmond Williams, the kid out of Montgomery, scored 5. They lost the Leffridge kid, that great freshman player out of Texas, and that's really hurt as well.
How did they lose him?
He's been hurt for the last 8 or 9 games as well.
And the kid out of Texas.
They don't ever release injuries. Troy, that's one thing Troy University's got to change. I don't know if it's in their sports information department or what, but they never list injuries for football, and they never list injuries for basketball, so we now have no clue what's wrong with these guys. So I'd like to know when they're coming back.
Well, let me ask this: do they have to, or I mean, is there a conference rule that they have to release injuries or anything like that? I thought that was only in the pros.
I don't know. If I was 8 and 15, it was my first year as a coach. I'd try to let people know that we're missing some really key guys.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's why we're not playing very well. Is that right?
Head coach Scott Cross said tonight was disappointing. We started out pretty well and hit some shots early. Our defense was good over the first 10 minutes of the game, which allowed us to go up. What does it say? Allowed us to go on that 17-0 run. Wow, they went on a 17-0 run.
Troy went on a 17. That is unreal. Go on a 17-point run and lose by 30.
On them, and because we hit shots, our defense was really strong, and then they answered with that run that proved to be the difference.
Oh, they had that 17-0 run. Is that right?
No, it said which allowed us to go on that 17-0 run.
Yeah.
That's what it said.
Yeah, boy, that's something.
And then they answered with that run, which I don't know how long that run was. They proved to be the difference. We were missing layups, couldn't find a bucket, and caused our defense to suffer. We talked about not allowing our offense to dictate our defense. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to fully accomplish that. Being shorthanded right now, when he does mention that, we don't have a ton of options scoring the basketball. We just have to find a way to bounce back and play better against Georgia State on Saturday.
Yeah. I want to mention the Salvation Army's big Camp Stew sale is coming up on Thursday, and what an opportunity this is to buy Camp Stew and give to a great cause at the same time. So $10 a quart. It's the best Camp Stew in the country, and you'll pick it up at the location right here on South Brunage Street of the Salvation Army. And we appreciate them. Or you can call the Salvation Army and order right now if you want to. And that number is 808-1069. 808-1069. And that's or you can call 672-4481 and order your Camp Stew. I've already ordered mine. It is delicious Camp Stew, isn't it, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely enjoyed it. I don't even really like Camp Stew, but I like it.
You don't even really like Camp Stew. You've been eating it all your life.
All right, so Troy's basketball team is 8-15 right now. They play at Georgia State on Saturday, so you got to imagine they'll lose that game. That's one of the top teams in the Sun Belt.
And they've got a big party up there too.
This is going to be interesting. On February the 7th, on Friday, Troy University basketball will be on ESPN2, which is great, on a Friday night against South Alabama at 8 o'clock. That's a rivalry game. Maybe Troy can find a way to beat South Alabama, and then after that they play La Monroe the night before Valentine's Day on Thursday.
Yeah, I'll be there for that, yeah.
So that game will be at home, and then another game against the Raging Cajuns of Louisiana Lafayette at home. So Troy will play 3 home games after Georgia State. Then they'll be on the road at Coastal Carolina, on the road at Appalachian State. They'll finish the season in Mobile against South Alabama, and then at home against UT Arlington, where Coach Cross was the head coach for about 12 years.
Yeah.
So maybe they can pick up at least a couple more wins, get to 10 wins. I mean, I know Coach Cross would love to have double-digit wins and not have 20 losses.
They're pretty much out of playing for a conference berth in the conference.
Sun Belt's really weird. They don't take every team, so I don't know how that will work. I don't think they'll have a chance.
Is anybody else as bad as we are right now?
I would have to pull up the standings and look.
Yeah, you pull them up if you don't mind. Let's see how.
I would think we're in last place, though.
And of course, with all those injuries and so forth. And they pulled a couple of kids out of redshirt about a month ago, and that's helped them a little bit, hasn't it?
Well, it did at the time, but then they lost the Leffridge kid that was really good. The kid out of Texas.
Well, he got hurt, is that right?
Yeah, we just mentioned he got hurt. We don't know what happened, though, because they don't ever release anything.
Yeah, exactly. Of course, we're talking about Troy University basketball, and they're...
The Little Rocks 10-2, 16-7. They're leading one side of the conference, and then the rest is Georgia State, Georgia Southern, Arkansas State, and Texas State. Let's see where Troy is. don't know why that just happened. All right, I'll find it.
Okay. But of course, we're trying to find out see if Troy has any kind of legitimate chance for making the conference tournament.
I mean, the women are first place in the Sunbelt Conference, so that's good.
And they've got a big game Saturday, Mike, and that should be a lot of fun. And we've also got a baseball day also on Saturday from Riddle Pace Field to the Troy University baseball team will be there on Saturday for what they call baseball.
Meet the Trojans.
Meet the Trojans, exactly, and you'll be able to meet all the Trojans and get
maybe Troy can get a win. They're
hot dogs. What now?
They're the second worst team in the Sun Belt. La Monroe's 2-9. Troy's 4-8.
All right, Troy is 4-8 in the Sun Belt, and
so I don't know where you would have to be. I don't know if they take the top 8 teams, how that works. So I mean, Troy's not out of it because South Alabama's 5-7, Coastal's 4-7, Lafayette's 4-7, Troy's 4-8. So Troy somehow did get on a run. I guess they'd have an outside chance to get into the conference tournament.
Yeah, they would, and I'm glad to hear that. So that gives them something to play for down the stretch here. And like you said, a big game tomorrow in Atlanta, downtown Atlanta. You know, you want to have some fun. You go over there and go to the basketball game, and then the huge. You've been over there a few times, Mike, for the aquarium. Have you ever been through the aquarium over there?
Yeah, I've never been to the Atlanta Aquarium.
All right, the Atlanta Aquarium is right next to where they play basketball. Did you know that? And
I knew Georgia State was downtown.
And it would be a lot of fun to take your family over there and go to the basketball game, go to the aquarium, or spend the night, or come on back home, or whatever. Atlanta's not a far trip at all.
Yeah, the only bad thing about Atlanta is you got to drive through Atlanta.
I'll tell you this, though, the most overrated place to eat. I shouldn't say that. Gosh, I'm not. But there's a barbecue place over there, Mike, between Atlanta and Montgomery that claims to be the best barbecue in the country. And to me, it's not even in my top 10.
What is that called?
Sprayberries. What do you think about Sprayberries compared to? Have you ever had Sprayberries barbecue? There in Newnan.
I never have.
Newnan, Georgia. Well, you need to stop by there next time you're there. I'm not saying it's bad, but to me it doesn't rank with my top 10 by any means.
Okay.
But a lot of people have raved over it over the years. Said, have you ever eaten at Sprayberries barbecue in Newnan, Georgia? And I'm saying it's good, but they cut it too fine. You know what I'm saying? I like my barbecue in chunks instead of real fine, cut real fine and thin. You know what I mean? I like for my barbecue to be
you don't like it chopped.
Yeah, I like it chopped, but I don't like it chopped real fine. You know what I mean?
So what do you mean? You like pulled meat, pulled pork?
Well, no, I like pulled pork. But you know how you chop up barbecue? Some people chop it too thin.
Some people like it sliced. Some people like it chopped. Some people like it cubed.
Well, exactly. And of course, the key.
I lived in Birmingham for 17 years, so I never went through Newnan.
In Georgia.
Yeah, I mean, I went the other way. I went through.
Okay, that's right.
I went through not Americus. I went through Carrollton.
That's right. But now, if you were coming from Montgomery, you'd go through Newnan. And Newnan's a great little town. The key to me to good barbecue is the sauce. The sauce. I mean, that's really how you judge good barbecue, is how good the sauce is. And I've always said.
I remember Frank Sadler used to always shock me when he was on the show. He said he never had to use sauce. He just liked the actual taste of the meat.
I know it. Bless his heart. And of course, he's gone now. But he sat up here many a day, though, didn't he? Somebody told me this about Coach Sadler. Coach Sadler get up here and start reading the paper, and he said, "Mike, all we see is the top of his head." And I used to have to ask Coach that. I said, "Coach, you got to look up, man. You're on the air." But I tell you what, I love that man.
Friday, February the 7th in Trojan Arena, they'll have a recruiting football signing day social.
Oh, I need to hear that.
That will be in Trojan Arena. Signing day social will be from 6 to 7 at Trojan Arena. So
6 to 7 from Trojan Arena. There'll be a signing. Maybe we can bring our cameras in there.
Social. Troy wrapped up his 2020 football signing class during the early period of December with Chip Lindsey and his staff landing the Sun Belt's top class and the best class in school history. The Troy Nation can join Lindsey and the football staff in celebrating the class on February 7th from 6 to 7. Prior to the men's basketball game in South Alabama, the event is free. All ticket holders for the whiteout game against the Jaguars that evening. So that will be before the game. They'll be on ESPN2.
Wonderful. The game will be on ESPN2 with South Alabama, and then, of course, this will be a great program to go to. And do you see any more about the baseball gathering this tomorrow? Tell us a little bit about it if you can.
I'll have to find some information on
Mike Amos calling in from his perch. Would I say your perch on Great Beach, Florida?
There's so much construction going on down here between the Red Bar and about another, 10 houses getting built down here. Creighton is definitely got a lot going on right now.
The worst thing they could do is try to 4-lane that. Is that right?
4-lane what?
Yeah, that street.
38. Yeah, they'll be able to 4-lane 38.
Not 38, but also your trail down.
98 is 4-lane.
But not to the Red Bar. It's not. It's.
No, you got to just drive through. They'll never be able to do that. I mean, there's houses that have been here for
exactly.
hundreds of years.
Tell them exactly where you're set up right now, if you will.
Well, man, I'm right off 38.
All right. Give us the actual 30A at what stop on 30A.
I mean, I don't know if I want to give out where I actually live.
No, I'm not telling you to do that. I'm not telling you.
I live off 30A. 30A consists of, you start at Rosemary Beach. When you're at Rosemary Beach, there's Seacrest. All these are resort communities. Rosemary Beach,
This
Seacrest.
is coming from 98. Is that right?
This is coming from Panama City Beach over the bridge.
Okay, that's right.
So then you got Rosemary Beach, you got Seacrest, you got Alice Beach, which is a resort, which is a beautiful place. After that, you go into, I would say, kind of old Seagrove. And after you go through Seagrove, after you go through Watersound, you hit Seagrove. Then after Seagrove, you hit, of course, Seaside. Everybody knows where Seaside is. And then there's Watercolor next to Seaside. And then you drive over the little bridge, and you got, the beautiful Western Lake with all the sand dunes, and you drive past Grayton State Park. And then you have Barago and Grayton Brew Pub and all these other little restaurants right there. And there's the Grayton Corner Market. And then you turn into Main Grayton, and I'm down on the left.
In fact, you live right there. You got property right there on Main Grayton, don't you?
Yeah, on Defeniak Street. Yeah.
All right. Now, most of those, there's not an actual hotel down there that you can rent.
There is. There's a really nice little boutique, little motel called Hibiscus. A lot of people stay in. That's
how many rooms does it have?
I mean, it's kind of more probably a bed and breakfast size, but I mean, they probably have at least, I'd say, 15 rooms.
Now, you and your family, your married family, of course, you married into a family that's been had a dwelling down there for several years. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, there's two houses. There's the family house and then our house. So,
and then on down, and we keep talking about the Red Bar, and of course,
they've been down here since the early 70s. Yeah. But the crazy thing is I just don't understand when people bought property down here, and I know my granddad bought property down in Bay County, and a lot of people bought property everywhere. I don't know how people didn't jump all over this area back, in the early 50s and 60s and just buy all this beautiful property down here. It's so gorgeous down here. With the lakes going into the ocean,
Yeah, but you could wake up and find you could wake up and see an alligator in your front yard if you didn't watch out.
Brackish water, but yeah, there is alligators. There's alligators at Phillips Inlet. You know, when I was a kid out there, you know, we're out there swimming all the time, and you know, the alligators are probably bull sharks and out there at Shell Island out in the bay. We used to go swimming out all the time.
Yeah. And of course, everybody loves Shell Island. You're right.
You got a baseball, softball fan day, so that'll be this Saturday, February the 1st at Riddle Pace Field, starting at 11 a.m.
Fan day at 11 a.m. Now that's what we need to know. That's tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Fan day at Riddle Pace Field.
After that, you can go watch the Lady Trojans basketball team, who's number 1 in the Sun Belt. They'll host South Alabama at 2 o'clock.
South Alabama at 2, and that's going to be on TV too. Is that right?
No, that's the men's game. The next week will be on TV.
Okay, I got you.
Fans are invited to the free event to meet and interact with baseball and softball teams.
All right, now that's at 11. Is that they're going to serve some food like hot dogs and so forth?
Free posters will be on hand for the fans to get autographs from both squads, plus free Conecuh sausage dogs.
Oh, that'd be good.
Will be available throughout the fan day.
Okay, and they'll introduce all the players and the coaches, and should be a nice gathering, no question about it. You're right.
Yeah, it should be a good crowd. Of course, the baseball team was picked second in the Sun Belt, so hopefully Coach Smart can get back to a regional. I tell you, going to a regional in baseball is a lot of fun.
Sure is. 2 years ago, I went to Athens and stayed 4 days, and that was so much fun, no question about it.
Yeah, Troy caught a really bad break in that series. They ran into rain issues, and I think they had to play Georgia and gave Georgia an extra day rest.
And Georgia sat around. Let me tell you what happened, and it was a coup, a real coup for Georgia. They were supposed to play a game, I think, at 8 o'clock. Or no, excuse me, it might have been later on. Troy was going to play Georgia, and they had a rain delay, and they waited. And if they waited past a certain time, I want to say maybe 10 o'clock at night, where you could not start a game after 10 o'clock, because it would be so late. And Georgia messed around and was able to kill some time. And then right before the game, they said, sorry, we can't play today. We'll have to play tomorrow. And Troy had all their pitching ready and all that. And Georgia was down. Their pitching was being hurt a little bit, as far as who was going to pitch. Great advantage for Troy, but those Georgia coaches pulled off a coup. That was 2 years ago. And Georgia, well, actually, though, Duke ended up winning the thing, didn't they? Georgia,
yeah,
Duke.
I mean, it was amazing. Troy blew out Duke in the first game, and Troy looked like they were going to really have a chance to maybe advance. And then, of course, they lost a really tough game to Georgia, which they led, I think, going into the 6 or so advantage.
Oh, yeah.
And then Duke comes back and wins the whole thing.
No question about it. Mike, did it say anything at all about spring practice football? When will it start? Normally it starts the last couple of weeks in February. What do you have for Troy spring practice? Did it say anything about it?
I'll have to look and see. I don't know if they've announced that or not. SEC distributes $44.6 million to each school.
Wait a minute. $44.6 million per school?
That's what it says. It must be all the television contracts.
I know that is phenomenal, though. They give each SEC team $44 million, or is that the total? Or do they break it down, or is that total?
It accounts for the total of $44.6 million distributed to each 14 member schools.
Oh gosh! Now you know the difference in the programs. Oh boy!
The conference payouts were $624 million.
The conference payouts were $600 and what now?
$24 million.
And divided by what?
14.
That's right, 14, and you got $44.6 million. That means Vanderbilt got $44 million. That means Ole Miss got $44 million. Mississippi State got $44 million. Missouri got $44 million. What I'm saying, that, if you want to know the difference in the Sun Belt and the SEC, there it is right there. I imagine, I wouldn't doubt if the Troy and the Sun Belt probably did give it maybe $1 or $2 million from the conference. What do you think?
It says distribution amounts. It says accounts for revenue generated by the SEC television contracts. This is where the money comes from.
Whoever pull that off, yeah.
Television contracts, bowl games, college football playoff, SEC football championship game, SEC men's basketball tournament, various NCAA championships, various NCAA.
And they put that in a pool or in a pot. Let's call it a pot.
Yeah, various NCAA.
And how much did you say the pot was? $624 million.
That's what's
divided by how many SEC schools? 14?
14, yeah.
14 SEC schools. Oh, boy. Now you know the rest of the story. Just think of the kind of money that they've got. That's just out of that one pool now, $44 million. And then that's not counting the money they made on revenue for ticket sales and advertisement and all that other. That doesn't even count, does it?
That's right.
We're talking about just strictly the TV contract and some other things that were in there with it. Boy, oh boy, you wonder why the SEC is so strong. And, people like Alabama and Auburn and these LSU and Florida, they'll make over, counting this $44 million, they'll make over $100 million each, don't you think?
Yeah.
Oh boy, that's a big difference. And you a big Alabama Auburn fan, you wonder why you're so good. Well, one thing is you got more money than anybody else. I used to tell that story. Bobby Bowden used to have his football camp right here in Troy, and they'd come here every summer, and Bobby and Terry and Tommy and his other brother, Jeff, and they would put on the camp, and we sat around a lot during that time, just talking and cutting up and having a good time. They were great people, great family, pure as gold about the way they think and so forth. And Coach Bowden told me more than once, or told our group more than once, was the difference in Troy and Florida State is money. Just think of what they can spend money on. I'll tell you one place where they have a huge advantage is having certain I shouldn't say pills or whatever, but they have a lot of health aids, juices and milks and certain health aids that gives as far as nutrition. That's where I'm getting at. They're able to do so much more on the nutrition lines.
They have like staffs where the players can go in, before and after practice and get shakes.
That's right, and this nutrition,
stuff like that.
and it's big. Yeah, it's a big thing. The nutrition.
You remember when we went into the University of Alabama? One of my best friends, Neil Green DeShera, gave us the tour, and there was all kinds of shakes. And
it's like a store. Yeah.
Yeah, making anything they wanted, like a sandwich or whatever. I mean, that was just in the weight room.
Yeah, and I can remember so well over the years with Troy was that you can only have one shake per week or something like that. I mean, really, it's expensive to buy that type stuff. What I'm saying, this is over and above what you need for equipment and all types of football and sports needs. This nutrition is something that.
Also in the classroom, they have these academic centers where each player is issued their own tutor.
Pretty much, yeah, exactly.
You might have, I don't know how many tutors you might have at Troy University as far as athletics. You might have more than I think, but each player has their own tutor at Alabama.
Exactly. Mike, we were talking the other day about Brandon Silvers, who quarterbacked Troy 2 years.
Will you watch the XFL after the NFL's over this weekend?
Well, tell me when that game starts.
XFL starts next weekend.
February the 8th. Is that right? Saturday,
Yeah,
February the 8th. It's Brandon Silvers and a team out of Seattle. They're the Seattle Dragons, or what's the
Seattle Dragons, that's right.
versus the DC Defenders. That's a good name for the DC team, and that game will be played Saturday, February the 8th, and that quarterback from Troy University, Brandon Silvers. And
well, they got a good television contract. I mean, you're going to be able to watch him live on all this at 1 o'clock Eastern time.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Saturday, 1 o'clock Eastern, week 1, you'll have Seattle against DC at 1 p.m. on live ABC, national television.
And that is, all right, tell us that one more time so I can write it down.
So the XFL schedule, you'll have the first game will be Saturday. Actually, an XFL, I guess this is the second try of the XFL. But they'll play the first game at 1 p.m. on ABC.
Oh, 1 p.m. And will our guy...
Everybody, even with bunny ears, can watch Brandon Silvers.
Brandon Silvers on national television.
Yep, after that, you got Los Angeles against Houston. That will be on Fox. And then on Sunday, you'll have Tampa Bay against New York on Fox, and St. Louis against Dallas on ESPN.
That's something. Now, ladies and gentlemen, people say, oh, this is an...
The coverage is great if you got ESPN, Fox, and ABC.
Well, let me ask you this. There's got to be some money coming in from somewhere. I mean, they're not going to fill these stadiums.
Vince McMahon gave like $1 billion, I think, to start the league again.
All right, now, what's this guy's name?
Everybody knows him. He's the one that started wrestling.
What's his name, Vince?
Vincent McMahon.
Vincent McMahon. Raise your hand out there if you ever heard that name before.
Started the WWF and WWE.
Raise your hand if you ever heard of Vincent McMahon. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, he's a big-time wrestling promoter. Is that what he does?
Well, he's a CEO and owner.
So he must be wealthy if he put up $1 billion.
Yeah, he's a billionaire.
Yeah. And he made his money through wrestling, pro wrestling?
Yeah, I mean, everybody's been watching Vince McMahon all their lives. I've been watching him since I was a little kid.
You've been watching him since you were a little kid? Man, what have I done to my children? What have I done to my children?
Maybe Scott or somebody in the back can show you a picture of Vince McMahon. I know.
Steve, have you ever heard of Vincent McMahon?
You got to know who Vince McMahon is.
Well, you know, I got a billionaire producer sitting up in the box that brings me coffee, Mike.
Everybody knows who he is.
And, well, here's one that doesn't know who he is, but ladies and gentlemen, Vincent McMahon is funding this new XFL football. How many games will they play, Mike?
I gotta look and see. I want to say they're gonna play 10, but I'll have to make sure.
And they're gonna have their own little Super Bowl and all that and everything.
Yeah.
And of course they've got major networks that are gonna be carrying it. And of course, again, if you didn't,
there'll be 10 weeks. It'll start next week.
Yeah. And the first game,
they got a really good, credible. You know, the commissioner's former NCAA executive Oliver Luck.
Yeah.
It was Andrew Luck's dad.
I bet you Andrew's got something to do with it too, don't you think? He's pretty wealthy guy himself, isn't he?
I don't know. I think he's kind of out of the spotlight since he retired.
Well, all right, let's review.
Dallas has got one of the best coaches, you know, over the last 25 years in college football. Dallas is coached by Bob Stoops.
Yeah, that's a good name.
So Stoops will get back into coaching. Houston is coached by a guy everybody knows, was coach in the NFL, was a coach in Hawaii for several years, June Jones.
Yeah, June Jones, okay.
Los Angeles is coached by a guy I don't really know, Winston Moss. I guess he's a long-time assistant in the pros.
Yeah.
New York's coached by a guy who used to be a head coach in the NFL, Kevin Gilbride.
Yeah.
St. Louis is coached by a guy that coached as an assistant in the pros for many years, Jonathan Hayes. Seattle is coached by a guy that used to be a head coach in the NFL, Jim Zorn.
Jim Zorn, and he is a former Seattle quarterback, and He's a coach for Brandon Silvers. But, something looks sort of fishy, though. Brandon Silvers looks like the starter, but there's a backup that this guy, that the coach has some personal relationship with. Isn't that right?
I don't know. I have to look and see.
Yeah, named Jones, I want to say.
But Zorn used to be the head coach at the Washington Redskins.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay is coached by a guy that used to be the former head coach as well, Mark Trestman. And then Washington's team is coached by a guy named Pep Hamilton that used to coach in the NFL for a long time as well. So that's your XFL head coaches.
Will their rules be any different, or how will that be?
Yeah, they're going to have some different rules.
I hope they don't have that motion rule like the Canadian Football League has, and I hope they don't have a 12th man like the Canadian football.
I tell you what, it's kind of crazy. Bob Stoops, is coaching that Dallas XFL team. Surprised Jerry Jones didn't want Bob Stoops to maybe coach the Cowboys.
Yeah, you're right. Bob Stoops is a pretty good coach, especially a defensive coach. But this is good news for me.
I hope it works out.
Yeah.
I hope it's successful. I was there when it started in Birmingham. I went to the first, XFL game when it was the Birmingham Thunderbolts.
But Birmingham does not have a team, though, do they?
No, yeah, you don't. They didn't get a team this time, but
the closest team to us would be Memphis, or who?
I don't even know. Did Memphis even have a team?
I don't know. Maybe not.
But anyway, I went to the first XFL game in Birmingham. Me and a bunch of buddies, we're living up there, and we were looking for something to do on a Sunday. And we're like, why don't we go and see what it's like? And went to Legion Field and got there. And the next thing I know, just people were just coming in and coming in and coming in. And before the start of that game, it was 50,000 people.
Birmingham wanted it bad, didn't they?
Well, I mean, everybody loved it.
Yeah.
You could drink beer, and it was just kind of the excitement of something different.
Yeah.
Jay Barker was quarterback. I mean,
oh yeah, you're right.
A lot of people were excited, and then of course, everybody loves Rick and Bubba, and they're the play-by-play guys.
Were they really?
Yeah, Rick and Bubba was I guess Rick was the play-by-play, and Bubba was the color guy.
Rick, a lot of people don't realize it, but Rick played 1 year here at Troy, and played with Mike.
They're coached by Richard Calhoun of Troy's former coach, Jerry DiNardo, the baseball coach, was the head coach.
Yeah. Well, of course, Brandon Silvers is a big draw as far as Troy people concerned, and the quarterback.
Dwan Harris is in the league. Sanders, the great nose guard from not last year but the year before. Jonathan Massaquoi is still playing. Pretty amazing. He's still getting a shot. He played at Troy years ago. Shoot, Dwan Harris played at Troy years ago.
Yeah.
And then one other guy, I'll have to try to remember who else is playing, but I think Troy's got 5 guys in the league.
Well, good. That's great. Now, again, ladies and gentlemen, Brandon Silvers.
I think they're paying like around $85,000 a year to the players. It's not horrible.
No, it's not a bad job. You're right. Silver's probably 23, 24 years old or something, maybe at the most.
Yeah, Silver's is pretty amazing. I was, listening to a radio show yesterday, Dan Patrick's show, which I've been enjoying listening to down here. And he had Gardner Minshew, the great Washington State quarterback that led the country in passing, and then actually as a backup played and won, a lot of games for the Jacksonville Jaguars this year. Probably is going to beat out Nick Foles, who won the Super Bowl with the Eagles.
Yeah.
So he was talking about his journey out of Brandon, Mississippi. And the coaches will tell you point blank that he was at Troy. Troy signed him. He went through the spring, and he did not think that he could beat out Brandon Silvers at Troy. And, he ends up transferring to a junior college, and then he goes to East Carolina. East Carolina, I think he throws for about 2,000 yards, but doesn't really have a great year. And it came down to if he wanted to go to Alabama and back up either Tua or Jalen Hurts. And Mike Leach called him in the last minute and said, do you want to be a bench guy at Alabama, or do you want to come out to Washington State and lead the country in passing? And, of course, he decided to go to Washington State and, ended up leading the country in passing. And I think he ends up being a 4th or 5th round draft pick.
I want to say he passed for close to 5,000 yards.
Yeah, and of course he wears like the headband and has the mustache, and the fans all love him. I mean, he's got a cult following. Everybody loves him.
Let me tell you this: Ole Miss is going to love their new, Mississippi State. Mississippi State's going to catch on fire. Everybody's going to be talking about Mississippi State in the next 2 or 3 years.
I don't know if he can recruit as good as Kiffin, though. Kiffin's a great recruiter.
Well, you're right, but one thing about it, it'll be exciting football for Mississippi State fans. If you're a Mississippi State fan out there, you got the guy that you want if you want to put excitement in your football program.
Well, Starkville's got a lot bigger. I've been there. The stadium, of course, holds around 61,000.
Oh, yeah.
They've got a lot of new restaurants, a lot of new hotels, a lot more stuff to do there than back in the day when your daughter was in meteorology school there.
Yeah. Starkville is not a big town. I'd say Starkville is about the size of Enterprise. Wouldn't you say it's about the size of Enterprise, maybe 24,000, 25,000 people at the most?
I mean, I would say just a little bit bigger than Troy. Yeah, their downtown's very small. I mean, it's not a whole lot to do there.
But it has wonderful SEC football and SEC sports. That'd be enough for me, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, their baseball is legendary. Their baseball facility they just built, the new stadium, they say is the nicest in the country.
And let me just say this about Ole Miss and their new football coach. Ole Miss has always been considered what we call a yuppie school. You think about it, some of the wealthy kids out of Birmingham, that's where they go to school. Ole Miss, hotty toddy, it's a yuppie place. In fact, I've said this on this show. Sometimes I think they care more about tailgating than they do about the football game. Don't you agree, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of Montgomery kids to go to Ole Miss.
Exactly. A lot of Montgomery kids go to Ole Miss.
Ole Miss is definitely a school where a lot of kids come in from out of state.
That's right. It's a rich kid school where a lot of the yuppie kids go to school. And they hired a yuppie coach. If there is a yuppie coach in the SEC, it's the new head football coach at Ole Miss.
Well, he's definitely one of the most cockiest coaches as well.
Yeah. What is your general opinion of him?
The guy was the head coach of the Oakland Raiders. He was about 32.
That's right.
He was at Tennessee, then he was at USC. Now he's at Ole Miss. He was at, of course, Florida Atlantic when he got the Ole Miss job.
Now,
to be honest with you, I like the way he is. I mean, I love he's a confident guy and feels like, that, he's a great play caller during games. At Alabama, he'd always raise his hands up in the air before the play even happened, signaling touchdown.
And we're talking about Kiffin. Tell them who we're talking about.
We're talking about Lane Kiffin.
And Lane Kiffin is
Alabama's offense coordinator, and of course, a lot of Alabama fans will never forget. He takes the Florida Atlantic job, and everybody's hoping he's going to be able to coach throughout the playoffs. And of course, him and Saban kind of had it out after the Washington game, and Saban went ahead and just said, "You need to just go on to Florida Atlantic," or pretty much forced him to just that he was done. And I really think Alabama beats Clemson in the national championship game if Kiffin's calling that game instead of Sarkisian. I mean, Sarkisian had been an analyst all year. So basically, bring him out of his analyst role, turn him into offense coordinator for one game. And, of course, Alabama loses a heartbreaking game, to Deshaun Watson.
Now, he was not the head coach at Alabama. Of course, he was offense coordinator at Alabama. And he was a very, very popular coach among the students, mainly because of what, Mike?
Well, he went out all the time.
He went out. He was a bar guy.
Apparently, he was recently divorced when he got to Alabama, and apparently he was, hanging out with a lot of college girls. Apparently.
Well, no. Let's just say this: that he had a good time going out, and he was a bar guy, wasn't he? And of course,
apparently he was known to frequent a lot of establishments in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, and of course, a lot of times maybe to get something to eat or whatever. But he was well.
Just out there wanting to talk to young college coaches.
Well, I don't know if that was the main reason, but at the same time, he became very popular. And when Kiffin, when Saban let him go, it disappointed a lot of Alabama students, didn't it?
I mean, I guess.
I mean, that was their buddy. I mean, he became their buddy, and he'll be that way at Ole Miss. Ole Miss is going to love it.
I know Tuscaloosa better than most. I worked over there, and actually my job was going in.
You frequented every one of those places, didn't you?
Yeah, I've been to every bar and restaurant in Tuscaloosa. I can say that, honestly, just through work. But it's a fun place to go out and have fun. I know that.
It's a big difference in like
Tuscaloosa's got a downtown area now that people just, flock to because you got that huge Embassy Suites they built downtown, and then they built another huge hotel right on the river across from the amphitheater. Yeah. And then they've got a couple other places down there now. So, basically...
And see, the key to it all is walking distance. Everything's walking distance.
You can go to Tuscaloosa now, and literally there's probably 12 bars, 10 restaurants, all downtown.
Yeah.
It's like a destination place now for just people that want to go
That's right.
for a weekend somewhere.
Yeah, a lot of people probably go to the game just to enjoy that part of it, and of course, but like I said, it's just it's just right off campus. That's what makes it unique. It's right on campus almost.
Yeah, you got the Strip, of course, the legendary Strip. Of course, that's calmed down a lot over the years. It's more corporate looking, I would say, but the Strip to downtown is walkable if you wanted to do it. It's a long walk, but it's definitely close.
You would think that Dreamland would move downtown.
Troy University could do something very similar to Tuscaloosa. You got your downtown area. Of course, Troy has no Strip, where there's literally bars and restaurants literally, right outside the stadium. But Troy has the potential of doing that one day.
I know. Wouldn't that be fun? That would be fun, no question about it. They got bicycles and golf carts and stuff like that now moving around all over the place.
It would be nice if somehow they could build like a lighted trail, like sidewalk out of the university towards downtown Troy. I don't know if that's a possibility.
Well, downtown Troy is starting to get a lot of those restaurants and so forth. In fact, Mike, I went to Mama Goldberg's the other night and bought a bowl of chili. It was wonderful, man, and it was cold outside, and I walked in and got a big, and they gave me a whole quart, I reckon, of chili, and really enjoyed it. And right there at Mama Goldberg's, and Mama Goldberg's is a good place to eat, really is.
Yeah, I used to go to the original in Auburn, because Camille, my twin sister, went to school there, and I've never really been to the one in Troy that much, but I know there's got a lot of people that like it.
Well, it is. It has good food, and I like the way they do their sandwiches.
Here's your latest line in Vegas. The Super Bowl will start at 5:30 on Sunday. Kansas City Chiefs are 1.5-point favorite, over under 54.5. So that line has gone down from 2 to now 1.5.
Oh boy!
Very low line for a Super Bowl. So it seems like Vegas doesn't really know what's going to happen either.
I like Kansas City and maybe the game over. What do you think?
Well, it's one of those things where San Francisco's got a good defense, got a really good running game, so there's a chance they can control it. But, Mahomes, I will say I've watched him more this year than I ever have. He's unbelievable throwing the ball, and the wide receivers they have are just so fast. I think there'll definitely be some points scored.
Yeah.
But
28-24.
Kansas City.
28-24 seems to be a pretty high-scoring game, and that's under right there.
Yeah, I'm still leaning San Francisco for some reason. I think they're going to win it, but who knows? I guess we'll see.
Well, I tell you what, everybody's trying to win one for the coach. They love their coach at Kansas City, and I tell you,
Andy Reid's a great guy. It seems like.
And let's just say this: the San Francisco quarterback is good, but he's not as good as Mahomes. And Mahomes, one thing about him, Mike, he can kill you running the ball too. He really is a great athlete.
Yeah, that really impressed me. That run he made against the Titans. Yeah, I didn't see that coming.
Another thing, he's a winner too. You can tell he's real confident. You don't ever see him get down. He's really a very confident quarterback. But then
you got a fun golf tournament going on out in Phoenix, the Waste Management Open. So that's going to be something to watch this weekend.
So you don't see anybody holding their hands up to make people shut up. Is that right? to keep
That
it.
that one hole is crazy out there. The 16th hole.
All right, but it's only on the 16th hole that it's like that. Is that right?
Well, I mean, I think it's rowdy everywhere, but there's like 60,000 people on that one hole.
All right, but all right, what makes? Tell the folks out there what makes this tournament different.
Oh, I mean, it's just a stadium. You know, I mean, the course is, they call it the stadium course, but there's a stadium on the 16th hole where about 60,000 people can gather, and they're like basically just drinking all day and partying all day and screaming and hollering at the golfers when they get to the tee.
And they can reach out and practically touch the golfers too. Is that right?
It's like literally like basically going into a football stadium and making one shot on a par 3.
Isn't that amazing?
So it's like really an amazing atmosphere. Actually, I saw yesterday Stephanie Campbell Baker and Billy Jeffcoat and some of the other folks from K&W Plastics are out there.
Are they really? And you know what it is? It's called.
Scott Saunders is out there as well, because I guess K&W Recycling and Plastics is called the Waste Management.
That's right. They're gonna have a ball. Yeah.
Yeah, I bet you're having fun.
It's the waste management. It's the waste management. Is the name of the tournament? Or they sponsored the tournament? Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Well, now they.
Right now, the leader is Wyndham Clark. Shot 61 yesterday. He's 10 under.
Who is Wyndham Clark? You ever heard of him?
I've seen him play a few times. A familiar name, second. Billy Horschel out of Florida is 8 under. J.B. Holmes is 7 under.
J.B. Holmes, gosh, I just can't see him ever winning the game. Now he's gonna hit the ball further than everybody.
He beat Justin Thomas last year out in California. I watched that. Harris English is 6 under. He played at Georgia. Another Alabama golfer you don't hear about much. He wants a lot of money, but he's never won a tournament. Bud Colley's 6 under.
Is Bud Colley from Alabama?
Yeah, he played at Alabama. Xander Shopley is a great player, is 4 under. John Ross, 4 under. Other names, Keegan Bradley's 4 under. Zach Johnson's 4 under. And then, of course, the great Alabama golfer who's on fire right now, Justin Thomas, is 3 under. And Matt Kuchar is 3 under. So,
well, all I'm concerned about is Bubba. Where is Bubba?
I don't know if Bubba's playing this tournament.
Yeah, Bubba Watson's my favorite player. I don't know who yours is. I love Bubba Watson. I love his mannerisms. Hey, he's never taken a golf lesson in his life. Hey, he's who he is, and you like him or you don't like him.
Well, I mean, he's a guy that I didn't realize the other day has won 12 times on the PGA Tour with 2 majors. He's probably gonna be a Hall of Famer.
Oh yeah. And of course, this will be.
He's a guy that I think I can't remember when it was 4 or 5 years ago won 5 tournaments in the season. So, you know, he's you know kind of I don't know what his philosophy is now. I don't know if he plays as many tournaments and maybe that drive and fire aren't there like they used to be. But he used to be one of the best players in the world.
You know, I was looking at the Players Tournament coming up just in a couple of weeks.
You never hear about anymore that's kind of fallen off is Dustin Johnson. He hadn't won in a long time.
Dustin Johnson hadn't. You know, I don't like his mannerisms as much.
I know my mother-in-law doesn't like him.
She doesn't like him at all.
Yeah, she doesn't like him
Speed,
at all.
though. Now, Speed. What has happened to Speed, Mike?
Well, he got married, you know, and settled down, I guess.
He found out that there was something to life more than golf, didn't he?
Well, I mean, I think he's young enough to turn it around. I think it's just, you know, a matter of time for him.
Yeah. I tell you, still the nation is mourning the loss of Kobe Bryant. I'm looking at a picture of his family. His wife is just breathtaking and gorgeous, a beautiful lady. And I was reading an article she wrote about him. It's in the Montgomery Advertiser today. Vanessa Bryant, we are completely devastated, she said, and of course, you know, she is. But the article she wrote was just simply really very touching and.
Yeah, I mean.
and Magic Johnson and Shaquille O'Neal and LeBron James. All of these guys are great role models, and it's very important that we have these type people in our society. You know, all these super athletes